Okay, today's the day that I need to get seeds started for the fall garden. And in an ideal world, all of my seed starting supplies would be in a nice and neat, organized place, just all ready to be used. But unfortunately, we live in the real world, and past me just left all my seed containers and trays out here from the spring. So we need to collect up these things and then these labels that are shoved under here for some reason. So we'll use these. So they're on the ground. Okay, so we got all these, and I think we need let me just collect up all these. I'll meet you back here. Okay, we got everything collected up. One of these trays can hold 32 of these pots. These are from Bootstrap Farmer. You can see the logo right there. These are nice and heavy duty, and I actually just invested in these this year. The first year, and I think maybe last year, I had a bunch of peat pots, and they were really obnoxious. I know that they say that you can bury them, but they don't break down the way that they say. So anywho, one of these trays can hold 32 of these. So that's what I grabbed, and I have all the labels. And I'm really glad that I did that off camera because there are so many spiders. So many spiders, and it's so dirty. There's probably still spiders in here. But I need to take these inside, get them washed up, and I need to grab my soil and the container to put the soil in, and then we can get seed starting. Okay, so I went through and I gave all of these little pots in the tray a little wash. I didn't worry about like sanitizing it or anything. I made a mess in my bathroom, so now I know that when I take care of the rest of the pots that I have outside, I need to wash them outside, so I'm not bringing stuff into my into the bathtub and making a mess inside. So I have these filled with a seed starting mix. I just use Johnny's growing medium. It's worked really nicely, and you can see how dark it is. I want to say that I'm pretty sure it's just like a screened compost, but it's been working really nicely for me. And I also went through and I picked out all the different seeds that I want to use. And I went through and I made up all my labels for my plants. And I'm using just these plastic ones. They're not shiny. They're like, they have a little bit of texture to them. I don't know if you can see that. They have a little bit of texture to them. But if you have labels like this, you can just use pencil on them. I know that Sharpie will fade in the sun, and it's hard to find an ink that works well, but you can just use pencil. Like, it smudges a little bit, but like this, you can see it said glow pepper. This is from last year, but to get this off, you can use a magic eraser. So you can use pencil, and then to get it off and reuse it for the next year, you can use a magic eraser. I didn't use it on that one. This is just from using water and like a rag to wipe it. This one did have writing on it, and I used a magic eraser on that. I just couldn't be bothered to do that on all of these tags, but I might when I'm getting everything ready for the next year. But I have all my labels. I have my little cups of dirt ready. So let's go through what all I want to plant. I am gardening in New York, the state, not the city. I live in a city, just not the city. And I live in zone 5B. So it gets pretty chilly here, and we don't have a super long growing season. It runs from mid-May, like outside of our frost dates are mid-May to October. So right now there's about 2 months before our first frost date. So most of these things are frost tolerant. And just because we're going past our frost date doesn't mean that that's exactly when the frost is going to come. And even then, we've had pretty mild Octobers. It hasn't been too terribly cold. It's not like we're gonna get a bunch of snow dumped on us. I mean, that could happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen. So the first thing I've got, I have 3 different summer squashes. So because my summer squashes got decimated by squash vine borers, I want to try and see if I can eke out some more summer squash before it gets too cold. So I have this scallop blend, which is like a patty pan squash, and this safari zucchini, which I actually have the tiniest little zucchini and is the cutest thing that's of this this type of zucchini. This is what the safari zucchini is. Is that not just the cutest thing? I would love to have zucchinis that look like this because it looks like it's probably going to be yummy, but you know, not the teeny weeniest baby zucchini. And then we have the summer squash medley. This is actually a seed packet that I bought for my first year gardening. So, I mean, I know that seeds last a pretty long time, but I would like to start using up my older seeds. That also gives me an excuse to, once I use up the older seeds, is I can start buying new seeds, which I love doing. Then next up we have lettuces. All of these lettuces I have in my garden already, except for I think this heirloom cutting mix. I don't have this in my garden, but I do have Gustav's salad, this winter density, green forest romaine, and butter crunch. These actually did really well. I already have some in my garden and I did harvest off of them, and even though it was kind of toasty, I mean, I know that I've been saying that it's been hot this summer, but it really hasn't been that hot, and it hasn't been very dry either. Even though it was like getting into the 80s pretty regularly, this lettuce, I mean, these lettuces did really well. And then we have Swiss chard, which I had tried planting this directly, and it did next to nothing. So I'm going to try this again. And then I have same story with the 2 different kinds of spinach that I had tried planting before. See if it'll work better. These 3 I actually direct sowed, and they didn't do very well, and then it also got hot. So I'm going to try starting these and transplanting them and doing it when it's starting to get cooler instead of when the heat is ramping up. And then of course, it's a fall garden, I have to have my brassicas. So I have this cabbage, which I had tried starting, I actually just pulled out. Most of these are things that I just pulled out and I'm trying to restart for this season. So I have this little nap cabbage. I have this broccoli rabe, which I think I actually ordered this not that long ago. So this is a new one. I haven't even tried planting this one yet. The Chinese broccoli, same story as the spinach and the chard. I tried direct sowing it. It got too hot. It didn't do well. I'm going to try starting it in a pot. I know sometimes the seed packets say that it's not recommended because they don't like their roots disturbed, but I think that it'll have less pest pressure if I start it inside and then plant out seedlings. And then this mini broccoli, which this is the one that didn't even attempt to put on heads. It just immediately went to seed. It made really cute flowers though. And then a different type of broccoli, another type of cauliflower, and then this Nero Toscana kale. I actually harvested off of this. When I pulled everything out, I actually harvested all my kale, and it turned out pretty tasty. So I would like to have more of this and then continue growing this in the future. So this is what I'm getting planted for my fall garden. Let me get all of my seeds into their little pots, and then I'll check back with you once everything's planted and labeled. Okay, I'm only partway done, but I thought it might be helpful to show how I plant my seeds. So I have this little bamboo skewer that I honestly just keep reusing, And I go in and I just make a little divot in the soil. And then I take my seeds. This is broccoli rabe. As you can see, they're a little bit small, but these are definitely aren't the smallest seeds I've seen. And I'm going to put 2 in each little hole. So I put 2 in each little hole, and then I just go through, just very gently pat the soil back in place, and then find my little label that I have, broccoli rabe, stick it in here. So now I know that these 2 are broccoli rabe. Same thing with this, like I know that these 2 are broccoli, mini broccoli. Okay, we are all done. We have everything planted. It looks all nice and neat. I just need to water these in and then keep them watered. I'm actually going to set up my little greenhouse downstairs because it has been moved out of the living room. And then hopefully we'll have some pretty good germination. Hopefully pretty soon we'll see some nice little healthy baby seedlings. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a lovely day.